Please welcome Stephen Badger.
Thank you, Aaron. And thank you to all our trustees and to all our faculty. What an extraordinary day, and of course, thank you to you, the parents, who have gotten our incredible graduating class to this point in time. To that end, I'd like to start by asking our graduating class to participate in an exercise with me. There's no test, it won't be hard, I promise. And I'd also like everybody else to participate in this if you would. So graduating class, will you indulge me? Great, okay. So if everybody, well, particularly the graduating class, if you would close your eyes and take a moment to, on this glorious day, to really feel the love and the pride that surrounds you individually and as a collective for who you are, what you've accomplished, and the faith that we have in what you're to do in the world. And carry that forward with you in light as well as in dark. Know that this pride and this love is forever there. And now, if I could, ask all present physically as well as on Zoom to really express this pride that we have in our graduating class of individuals and as a collective. And if you would join me in raising your voice, your love and your pride in whatever way suits you to express it to them, please. Thank you. So we indeed gather today to celebrate you, the 2021 graduating class of Santa Fe Prep. I want to thank and honor all the graduates' parents and family, the alumni, the dedicated faculty and administration of Prep, and also our current and past trustees who are with us today, all of whom have helped Prep overall, and in particular, this class succeed in this extraordinary year. This success has been accomplished together, despite the challenges, and it has not been easy. And by no means has it been easy for you, this graduating class, who have in some ways been at the tip of the spear of the changes and challenges we've faced globally. And yet, you have rallied in this crisis. You have shown us in a time of unprecedented uncertainty how to coherently think through one of life's most significant steps, applying to and going to college and or figuring out your next life step. Surely this process and year has been frustrating, confusing, and even angering. It was also a year likely filled with a healthy dose of monotony as the days and weeks of your senior year blended into one another. And if all that didn't stir your emotions, well, then being stuck at home with your family must have. And if not for you, then most definitely for your family. But such intense times have a silver lining, and there are many. One is that you were not able to rely on the usual patterns and expectations that many of us did in the absence of such trying times. You have been forced to ask and answer, how do I determine what steps to take given my dreams and hopes when juxtaposed against the world's monumental issues? What other silver lining exists, you might ask? Well, in terms of the miles you'll walk in a lifetime, this next step is a milestone that marks the beginning of a life of your own making, at a whole new level from what you might have already undertaken. And you've done it in the face of a global meltdown. You've chosen the next step of what school or path to take next year, despite the pandemic. And you now have a real and new data point that speaks to your ability to care for and manage your life. And yet, how to answer this question of what choices do I make in the face of such uncertainty and challenges? I submit to you that your ability to do this in a manner that is true to you will be strengthened if you listen to your own inner voice. And it is some thoughts on this that I wish to share with you, our graduates. First, one might ask, how do you define your own voice, not to mention your own personal path? Well, for starters, it can take some detours, hard choices, and yes, some failures to answer these questions. I went to a prestigious high school like Prep, went on to Duke for 2 years before I left, worked in a clinic for disturbed kids in San Francisco, spent time on the Lakota Sioux Pine Ridge Reservation, where I was invited to attend traditional and sacred sun dances and sweat lodges. Went back to Reed College for 2 years, which I also left. Don't worry, parents, I did eventually finish college. Found my way to a 600-acre organic farm in Oregon, run by devotees of Paramahansa Yogananda, invested in and moved to Santa Fe to work with Seeds of Change, and most recently served, as Aaron said, 2 terms as chairman of Mars Incorporated. The thread through these and other experiences was and is my inner voice, which we all have if we seek it out. If it's truly your inner voice and you choose to listen to it, it will speak to you and help you develop your own personal and foundational principles for how to live your life. It would be arrogant not to listen to others, but I'd suggest that this voice is especially critical to seek out sooner rather than later, because you are shaping your destiny in a time of unparalleled ambiguity. So my journey, which I hope can be of some use to ponder, can be summed up into 6 thoughts. The first is to find and choose to cultivate a relationship with your inner voice. Sometimes you find it in the silence of a walk, making pottery, writing an essay, or even saying a prayer. Or it may come to you in the distraction or intensity of an activity like sports or acting. But once you do find it, if it's real, it will demand your attention. And once found, nurture it like you would a small flame when starting a fire in a snowstorm, like your life depends upon it. This leads to my second thought. Once found, your inner voice can help you define your personal and inspiring higher order purpose. I believe we each have a divine purpose, a unique path that calls us if we listen, and your inner voice can guide you in finding and refining it, especially if you ask it for guidance. Purpose is there for all of us, waiting for you, and it can take many forms. But the Holy Grail is a purpose which you feel driven to pursue, and as the French say, is your raison d'etre, your reason for being. My third thought is that once found, or even once you get an inkling of your purpose, I submit that it's your responsibility to pursue it. Sometimes this will be at odds with others or the common consensus, and your inner voice won't always say what you want, nor will your purpose always present the easy path. Difficulty helps us define ourselves, though, and so I'd suggest that you actually seek out what is difficult, especially if it is in service to others and to your purpose. I would also submit that as you seek a higher order reason for your actions and commitments, that you remain open to unexpected inspirations in life. Here's a true story of mine, as Aaron referenced. On a road trip through the Southeast and traveling only backcountry roads, I literally stumbled across a small town called Muscle Shoals. Hunkered down during a storm, I started reading about this place where I found myself. I discovered a deep and powerful, untold American story, which led to making a documentary on a subject I love passionately, music. As I personally interviewed icons like Aretha Franklin, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Bono, about this little town in Alabama and the songs crafted and recorded there, I began to think our film, Muscle Shoals, was destined for accolades. At one point, it was even written up as a dark horse for an Oscar. And yet that abruptly ended when our agent informed me that we were threatening the chances of a film of one of Hollywood's most influential and ruthless producers, who was abruptly ending our chances, full stop. Crushed as I was by this totally unfair power play, I came to realize that the disappointment was my ego wanting praise. This leads to my fourth thought. Pride, ego, and praise won't lead to lasting satisfaction or happiness. Instead, I would ask you to think about the mutual benefit that can result from your pursuits and purpose, and to attune your inner voice to this. For me, in this case, of the film, the mutuality was the relationships made over the 4 intense years it took to make the documentary. And for the musicians in this small, forgotten southern town, it was the long overdue recognition and revival that persists still to this day due to the film. My fifth thought speaks to the truth that no matter what others may tell you, you have the freedom to determine the meaning of what happens in your life. On January 5th, 2019, I was skiing at the basin and met up with a rock at 20 miles per hour, breaking my left femur. Liam actually coordinated the rescue. In the days, weeks, and months afterwards, as I struggled with the pain and recovery, it became clear that I could choose to use this accident for the positive and make a pivot in my life or not. The stories we tell ourselves determine our life's path, and I could curse this as unfair and bad luck, or choose it as an opportunity to create a better me, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. All of us have the choice each day and each moment to upgrade our so-called software, our beliefs, and the intellectual and emotional programs we run based on those beliefs. Life, after all, is a series of stories or programs built from our experiences. We choose what our experiences mean. If we choose self-limiting stories or programs, we aren't operating in our or the world's best interests. Remember, you have the freedom and capacity in each moment to do otherwise. A positive and affirming story is there for every experience if you choose it. My last thought, the sixth, is that times will get hard to state the obvious, and you will have to face into fears and doubts. Yet your load can and will be made lighter by having friends that themselves are seekers of these 5 truths on this journey called life, who support you and your inner voice and purpose, and with whom, by grace and forgiveness, you can stay connected as the years unfold. So in closing, I hope all of you take heart from the challenges you've already overcome to be here today, graduating from Santa Fe Prep. And I hope that my 6 thoughts can aid you in going forward. First and foremost, you have the freedom to find and nurture your inner voice. Second, you have the ability to define the purpose by which you want to live your life. Third, you have the opportunity to pursue that purpose. Fourth, you can give greater meaning to your life by seeking a path that rests upon a higher order like mutuality. Fifth, you can choose and interpret and frame what happens in your life for the positive and affirming. Sixth, hold on to those who recognize and honor your voice and purpose. They are the true friends to carry through life, as they will help carry you. These 6 reflections put together don't make the world's troubles go away. They can, however, provide you with your own set of self-directed tools to navigate the turmoil, as well as help you find and achieve your hopes and dreams. So don't ever limit yourself. Listen to your inner voice in the silence and the chaos. The universe wants to see you shine, and the world needs it. Thank you.